Interesting fact about Israel. Israel did not allow television sets into the country until the mid 1960s, almost 20 years after its establishment. Why was that? Let's explore. Shalom, my friends. This is Akiva Gersh with Israel in 5, where we give you everything Israel in 5 minutes. Please like and subscribe. And if you have any questions or want to keep the conversation going, please do so below in the comments. Why were there no television sets for the first almost 20 years of Israel's existence? Well, there's one answer. David Ben-Gurion, Israel's first prime minister, when he first saw a television set, one of his trips to America, he saw what the programming was, he saw what was on the TV, and he said, if that's what TV is, then we're not having it in Israel. He did not want people wasting their time. He didn't want people wasting their money. It's very important to remember and to understand that in the beginning years of Israel's existence, there was an extreme economic scarcity. There was a very, very serious economic situation where the government simply didn't have enough money for all of the projects that it needed to establish and to run and to fund. At the same time, there were hundreds of thousands of Jews coming in from all over the world, coming into the newly born state of Israel. So there's a lot of economic hardship. And Ben-Gurion didn't think that it was worth any of their money to bring in television sets. And in addition to that, and this is really the main reason why he was against the television set, he felt like it was a big waste of time. You have to remember that Ben-Gurion was a major, major Zionist, and as we call it in Hebrew, a chalutz. He was a pioneer. He was among the first waves of young Zionists to leave Europe, to come to the land of Israel, and to work, to get his hands dirty, to join the kibbutz movement, and to join the kibbutzim, right? These communal farming communities, and work, 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 right? That was their main ethic. That was their main focus, is to work. They valued work at a very, very high level. They did not want people just sitting around doing nothing. They believe everyone has their place, has their part, and should do their part. And so, as a young Zionist who went up the ranks of the Jewish leadership in pre-state Israel, and then eventually became Israel's first prime minister, he kept that ethic, right? And he wove it into the fabric of Israeli society, right? He was prime minister for many, many years in these beginning years of the state of Israel, and he really tried and worked hard to bring those ethics and those values of the pioneers of early Zionism into the country. And he felt like TV would absolutely destroy it. He didn't want people sitting around doing nothing. He wanted to make sure that the next generation of young pioneers, of young Zionists, was born, and that they too believed in this way of life, this way of living, this approach to the state of Israel, right? That everyone does their part, has their part, and that work is a supreme value even. And again, he felt, and that was back in the day when television sets were simple and maybe there was one channel. But he really believed that it would be disastrous and very destructive for the state of Israel. And that's why television sets were not brought into Israel until he was no longer prime minister. The man who took over after him was Levi Eshkol, and only a few years into his term were television sets allowed into the country. And even then, at first, there was just one channel. It was run by the Israel education unit, and it was brought in for educational purposes. And then, of course, from there, it grew and grew, but it started off very, very simple, with, very cautiously to make sure that it did not bring about those destructive results that Ben-Gurion himself so much feared. So it's an interesting part of the early part of Israel's history, really focusing on the Zionist spirit, keeping it going, keeping it strong. And that's the reason why television sets were not allowed into the country for the first almost 2 decades of the country's existence. All the best, my friends, and be well.